Hi everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you're well. It's unseasonably cold and wet here in Scotland. So tonight I thought I would do a quick tutorial on this miniature brag book that I've made. This one was kind of the prototype, and what I've used is the Hunkydory Little Books for the decoration of it. Now the way it's made is very simple. You don't need to worry about making a spine or anything, and I know the wonderful Caroline from Caj Crafts has a similar tutorial. Her book is slightly different, so I would definitely recommend that you check out her tutorial as well, and I will show you how I do mine. So the other thing I thought you might like to know is I've got my recipe book, and this is where I keep all my dimensions on things that I have made and things that I like that I will remake, whether it's albums or books or traveller's journals, handbags, envelopes, things like that, different types of cards. So this is where I keep all my measurements and my ingredients on my tried and tested recipes. So for this one, you use a total of 5 sheets of A4 card, and I'm using up card. I get lots of card and I'm not sure I like the colours, so what I've decided to do is make lovely bright cards. So 3 cards measure 5.5 by 9 1/4. The next card is 5.5 by 8 3/4, and the third card is 5.5 by 8 1/4. Now, each one, when you put it into the long side, you score at 4 inches, and then you turn it 180 degrees and score it 4 inches. And then you do the same with the second card. Score it 4 inches, turn it 180 degrees and score it 4 inches. That means that that side and that side are the same. That side and that side are the same, but I don't know if you can see, the width of the bit in the middle is different. So we do the same for this, the final one. 4 inches, turn it 180 degrees and score at 4 inches. Okay, now we're just going to fold these and burnish. You can use wet glue or tape, whichever is your preference. Sometimes it's nice to be able to have a bit of manoeuvrability that you get with the wet tape, the wet glue, that you might not get that same adjustment room, hang on, that you do if you have wet glue. So what we're going to do is we're going to place these centrally inside each other, like that. And that creates a book and all the pages are the same. So I'm going to use wet glue because it's here. We are just going to put the wet glue along the spine and make sure, as best you can, that you center it. Okay, same with this one. We just need to line up the middle. And then we centre it. Now, we need to let that set, okay? So in the meantime, I'm going to set that aside. We've got the other two pieces that are measuring 5.5 by 8.25, and we want to score at 3 7/8 and 7 3/4. So we'll do that for the other one. 3 7/8 and 7 3/4. Now we're going to fold this, and this is going to become our flaps. We're going to have some nice fold out pieces. Sometimes it doesn't quite fit in there, so you might have to, you see how that's just not quite folding over? You might need to trim that bit off there. So for this I am going to use tape. And I'm just going to tape along the small fold here. The way that I've been using these books is just great as little gifts. Because there's a bit of a spine on this book, even though it's a handy little size, you can still personalise it by putting nice embellishments and names and things like that on. So when that folds in, I don't want this side to bubble up at all. And in this bit, I think it did. Yeah, that's not quite right. So I'm just going to take a sliver off this edge so that it just sits neater. That's much better. That's much better. Okay. I am so guilty for working on top of my scoreboard or my cutting board and not on top of a protected surface. So here's the book. Pages are in. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach this fold out. Now you can choose which page. I like the middle one. You don't have to. So we're just going to line this up as best we can. The light's not great here. Just line it up like that. And that gives you the fold out. Okay? So that should fold in there, and then that needs to be burnished there. And we're going to do the same on this side here. Oh, just not, there we go. Maybe just put it on the smaller page. And you just want to leave a little bit of a gap to allow for the fold. Okay. So, there is your basic book. Now, colours are always a problem for me, trying to work out what colours go, and you know, I'm not good at colour wheels and things like that. But these are the Hunkydory Little Books. and you get lots of them. There's actually a Facebook group of people who collect these little books. They are so amazing. These ones I actually picked up in a D-stash. So I've gone through the little books and I am looking for things that will coordinate with this turquoise card. And there's actually 20 here. Now, the pages, with the exception of the very outside page, if you've trimmed it, are all 5.5 by 4. So you want to trim the cards to fit that so that there will be a border around the edge. Okay, so these are ones that I've chosen that they've got the turquoise or they've got a blue aspect in it, and I try and get them mixed up. But I'm not going to bore you with all of this. Just make sure that these are cut to 5.25 by 3 3/4 and then glue them all on. And as you've seen here, I've also added pockets, and that is from the scrap pieces of card that you've cut off to make the book itself. Now, I have actually got a couple of magnets, so you can do a magnet closer. And you want to do that before you start adding your decoration. So I'm going to get my magnet and stick it on. Like so. And then we get another piece of paper, another piece of double-sided tape, and we put it the other way and pop the magnet on top. So here are the scraps that I had. If I just take a strip off here, and we want to cut it to stick that on there, and then we will fold and make sure you leave enough width here, because when this is full of both your DSP but also hopefully pictures and inserts and things, so we want that to be there, so we can now glue this in place. There we go. So I'm going to let that sit, let that glue set, but you need to leave enough space in between for your expansion of the book. Okay, I am going to take a clip and just secure that so that it dries in place. There we go. There we go. So that's basically it. All you need to do is trim these down to 5 1/4 and 3 3/4 and then glue them, and I will let you see the finished result, hopefully. Thanks for joining me. Please like and share the videos, and let me know if you've got any questions. Thanks very much. Bye bye.